Oh, we're here to pick up this beast. Look at this PDI'd sucker. Holy smokes. Hey. How's it? Good, you?
Good.
Just flipping huge. Side views, it's cool. Can't wait to just shrink that down a touch. Insane monster. Doesn't even fit on widescreen very good. Look at it. Sweet. Love that head-on view and this side view, like right about there. Yeah. All right, first drive in the Turbo R off-road Vixen. Let's see what they do in the parking lot. What suspension setting are you gonna put it on for pavement?
I don't know, I just gotta get this freaking seatbelt.
Pull up.
Oh.
So suspension modes, where is that?
The seat needs to be
Right here, right?
way up because I'm short.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We got short problems.
Oh, I can't remember anything about Polaris.
Already complaining about the brand on live television. Here on YouTube Live, everybody.
No,
just kidding.
better not.
So the seats lock in nicer, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, you don't want them to move around while you're driving.
Oh,
Pretty,
yeah.
they're pretty tight. Baja, rock, track. Let's try comfort for fun.
There's no
Parking lot,
parking lot.
comfort.
Parking lot is not a.
What?
I said I gotta go rip this thing where I can.
Yeah, well the belt's not broken in, so it's jerky on you right now. But yeah, it'll calm down once you get it driven a bit.
I could tell you just wanted to hit
Got her in the trailer. She's a 8.5 wide trailer, this one now. About 1 inch tops there. I got a 2.5 inches there, so we got room in there. Even the ceiling height though. We're cutting her close. We just missed this and we got the extra height put onto this too. But the new cage on there is gonna lower her down, but it just sits so crazy huge and tall. And that's on comfort mode too. Squatting down, so curious to see what it's like when it's up a bit higher. I tell you, they say the Turbo R is like a jacked up Turbo S, and it is. It's the replacement, but it's really from the XP Pro series, joined with an old Turbo S, kind of jamming in there, combined. But it's not. It's just so much more. As soon as you sit in there, move around in it, it's like a super jacked up Turbo S. So that we know so far right away. We're going to take her down right now for a quick rip and just feel it out a bit on some different little bits of local terrain real quick, just to get a feel, because I don't feel like going to sleep tonight without knowing yet. So there, we'll get some feedback for you right away. Okay, so we brought her down to the infamous Gill Road, just a local hangout hole. Seen it on many videos before. Not too many people out here right now, so got a little wide open spot. If anywhere I like to tell the suspension how it works good is on this rocky stuff. It gives you a really good idea of like the small chattery feel, how it holds up in that. So we can test out a couple different modes. But yeah, another hour and a half or so of daylight, and then putting her away for sleep for the night. before we get a real ride and stuff on her tomorrow, but we just had to wiggle this up and get a little something going here. Coolest things right away we noticed on this is finally somebody figured out how to put tie down points up here. That sure makes things easier. I hate these machines. Sometimes there's nothing on them. Like we don't have the winch or anything on yet, so there's nothing to grab onto. But, yeah, let's go. Let's ready? First test run. First little break-in run. Just don't rock spray me. I got nowhere to hide. Move on that sucker. Turbo S was awesome too. It really was, but when you watch this and feel it, I guess a lot of videos are going to be about that. How much more amazing this is than the Turbo S. In comfort mode, and as she was saying, it just felt like she was floating. So now we're in Baja mode. So that's in Baja mode, which obviously you want to be going super fast for that to reach its capacity. Do you like it or no? No, you're never gonna ride this. You're just gonna put it away and leave it in the garage, I think. Oh, you got to get used to it. It's a whole different feeling, right? We're gonna race the UDR.
Yep. I'm gonna try and
Oh, your Can-Am just came and he's like, I'm not putting up with this in my backyard. Yeah, look at the brakes. Look at the size of those calipers on the brakes. Holy smokes. And thick rotors too. So this whole wheel hub assembly is so different than all the other guys. But just showing you guys everything here. I know we've seen a lot of Pro R stuff, a lot of similarities, but it's a Turbo R with a lot of similarities, but they belong to the Turbo R. Look at these things. It's just a lot of big things here which make everything look really cool. Like you're spending lots of money, but you're starting to get some money's worth. Like look at those rotors finally. Real rotors. 5-bolt rims. Alright, let's go. Pick your mode. What mode are you in?
track this time.
Track suspension mode. Alright, let's go. Video and Des ripping around in the new Turbo R, and it looks good. I like it. Filming it, I love filming. I love getting stuff on film. Kind of feel disrupted though. I think I should be in the driver's seat. It's like, when's it my turn? You know when you're a kid, you just can't wait for your turn. Like for the Atari joystick, you're like, give it to me, it's my turn. You already had a turn. Turn around and jump that little jump, I says. Or just do that. tie a brick to her shoe so that foot stays down a little better. But she's breaking in the belt, right? Extra horsepower compared to what you're used to, right?
Oh, compared to what I do.
81 horsepower and a turbo for response, so different. Crazy width, stability. Once you learn how these shocks correct all your leans and stuff, and
That's the thing,
you can,
like, because of how
you'll feel that way, but gas it out and it drives you out of there. It's a crazy machine. Well, possibly convinced her to do this little jump here. She's so not used to the entire everything about this machine. Just how this throttle works, the turbo works, the lag, everything. Turbo R first jump, here we go. Yeah, it's a good first jump. Working the shocks, you know. There we go. There. Like butter, let's go gas it. Steering rack and the stiffness there, that's pretty awesome to come with that stock, not have to do anything to it, and it's already there. The suspension geometry that's changed, shocks going through like that, huge improvement. Very rigid, very like just a rigid chassis now. The way all the suspension parts work, outstanding. Look at the clearance on this thing. Like we're like pure 15, 16 inches up in the air right now. Easily. Sitting on 32s and we're past the halfway point there on the back. Crazy clearance. Look at all that suspension to soak up. In the two wheel, it's almost like you feel like you're a little bit out of control in it. Does it remind you of the Turbo S or no?
Pardon?
What's it remind you of, anything, or do you feel like it's its own thing?
It's a lot different.
Yeah, it's a lot different, totally. I mean, the wheelbase, everything's different than the Turbo S. It's replacing it.
If anything,
but
it'd remind me of the X3.
the X3, but up high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has some of those character. It's way smoother though. The X3 would have beat you up on these rocks like this ripping across. Unless you went and Tune the shit out of your shocks, right? Okay, so she's only tried it in two-wheel drive so far. Keep the rocks from kicking up and flinging paint off everything, but it's such a big difference. It gave her probably the wrong impression of how this drives and tracks to the ground, and so she's gonna boot back out there in four-wheel drive this time. Then she'll feel the stick. Feel the stick!